Hey guys, welcome back. It is September 30th, and I spent the better part of the last week getting over a pretty bad cold again. It seems to be going around my parts, so I apologize if I sound a little stuffed up, because I am. But anyhow, we're back in the garage. We're going to get a little bit of work done on the D tonight, and then tomorrow morning Tony is going to stop by, maybe work on the GP, and Rudy's also coming over, and he's going to have some fun with us on the D. So we'll jump right into it. The plan tonight, I want to get the shift rail out with the forks. Probably pull the, I'm not sure how the top shaft with the sliding gears and the first reduction gear and all that, I don't know how that comes apart. But I'm going to try to do that, and then once that's out, I'm going to leave the differential for when Rudy is here, because in order to get this out, we have to either turn it, bring it back and turn it to come out, or it has to tilt and turn. I know for sure it's not going to come straight out. So, but this is going to be my focus for tonight, and then the video will continue tomorrow morning when Rudy and everybody are here. So let's work on this part, and I've already got the cotter pins bent. I just need to pull them out. There's some springs inside these tubes with some detents that need to come out, and then we can push the shaft out this way and take the forks out, and then we'll work on the first reduction gear and top shaft with the sliding gears. So let's get started. Okay, got the light set up. Pull these cotter pins out. Now I always put my thumb over the top just to prevent the spring from shooting out. Okay, grab my little pick so I can grab the springs. One spring, two springs, and maybe the magnet. We can grab the detents out of there. Just like that. Okay. So now, in theory, I can access the shaft from the, and we got a hard stop, which means we probably have to loosen. There's a bolt here that sets the alignment and kind of locks the shaft in place with a lock or a jam nut on it. I'll just take it all the way out. Bolt and jam nut. Hopefully that's plenty far out that side. There's one shift fork. Actually, before we take any of this out, I'm going to take a picture, because the manual does not have very good photos at all. Doing this live, folks. Always try to take pictures as we go along. Okay. One shift fork, the other shift fork. And I'm just going to assemble them exactly as they came out. So that there's no confusion. We can put this loosely back in place. Okay, now the sliding gear assembly should be fairly easy to remove, I think. Need a 3/4 inch wrench. Now, one thing I don't know, there's probably a tapered roller bearing. I'm not sure. Guess we'll find out when we get to it. All right. Let's pull this cover off, and then we'll pull the cap screws out for, there's 4 of them, I believe, for this side. This might actually come off the end and then it might go out the other way, but I'm not exactly sure. So let's pull that cover off, pull those cap screws out, and we'll see what we got. Okay, I've got all the covers off, all the cap screws out, and I pulled on it a little bit and the whole assembly started moving out. The side of the reduction gear. So I'm just giving it some light taps with the dead blow hammer and a big brass drift. And I think this should just come out as an entire assembly. But I'm not exactly sure. We might have to remove the differential first in order to get this portion out. Because this gear here is all the way up to the end of the shaft against the bearing. And we're going to run into this inner gear on the differential. And I think that's going to be a problem. So we might be stuck at this point for that. I'm not exactly sure how else to get that out other than remove the differential first. I think that's going to be our only option. So the big question now is, do we just work on the crankshaft? Let me do some thinking. We'll come back to you. Okay, so I decided to take the crankshaft out, and I can't remember which way it needs to come out, but we're going to try this way. and it is not light. Try to be as gentle as possible. Because I do not want to damage the main bearings. Whoop. Okay. Try to balance it there. A little bit at a time. Let's put that there for now. Please don't fall. Okay, that's not going anywhere. It's heavy. Okay. Whew. Biggest thing is I didn't want to damage any of these inserts just in case they're better than the other ones, so. Whew. Okay. Crankshaft's out. A lot of work doing that, just lifting it. I mean, yeah. It's big, but now look at all that rust down here in the bottom. I don't know if you guys can see that. That's where the oil pickup screen is. That's all a big chunk of rust, a big brick of rust. So, and these are all froze up, I think. Yep. So we'll have to put some PB Blaster on those. Camshaft still turns, so that's good. Okay. Well, we might as well work on getting the camshaft out. Cotter pin here on this bolt, same on the other bolt. Take these two nuts out, and then we'll take the bearing carriers out. There's one here and one here, and then the camshaft will be driven this way out of the cam gear. So let's work on that. Okay, we've got both the bearing journals off the outside. The bolts on the camshaft gear are loose. So we're going to try tapping it out of the gear. There's really no good way to do this. It did move, so that's a start. I have to get a chunk of wood to block it up. See if we can make one of these work. No. Too long. Okay. Will this work? Possibly. Maybe. Almost need 3 hands to do this. I don't know how I did it on the other one. Let's see, maybe if I turn this around. Okay. Kind of cumbersome. Okay. Camshaft gear. Camshaft. I don't think it will come out that way. Oh, yes, it will. Okay. Camshaft is out. Okay. Okay, everything's out. Take a look at all that rust and mouse nest still down in there. That's all mouse nest down in there where the cam followers were. Down in the bottom here where the cam gear is and oil pump. There's probably at least 2-3 inches of rust down in there. Mouse nest. Just terrible. But got it all out. So now the only thing left is the gearing here and the differential. And this is loose, so that's probably ready to come out. Got to get this out, pull the gearing out, and then I'm not sure how the bottom shaft comes out with all the constant mesh gears, but looks like there's a keeper, a set bolt here with a lock nut, probably a expansion plug there. This is actually where, if this tractor were equipped with a PTO, it would bolt onto this spline shaft. There's a cover here, right here. You take that cover off, you would bolt your PTO on here, and it would be a shaft that runs back, and it's actually way off to the side on these tractors. So, okay, almost completely stripped down. We'll see you guys in the morning. Okay guys, we're back at it this morning, and we have the differential hanging from the engine hoist. Now, I've got it tilted, and we have to turn it to get it out. Combination of both. So that's going to be an interesting adventure, but this one is ready to come out, this top shaft with the sliding gears. So we'll go ahead and remove that. I think it's ready to come out. Just like that. Bottom shaft, I'm not sure how this comes out. I know, let's see, there's a set screw with a jam nut and some safety wire. And then the shaft will either come out the left or right side. This must be the reverse idler. So this one is not locked in place. I'm guessing it's supposed to be because this one is. So let's start working on getting that stuff apart, and then we'll do the differential last. Okay, we're gonna try and get this thing out of here.
It'll come out. Hang on. I'm gonna get this out of the way. Okay.
It's gonna catch on the bolt heads of that. Yeah, now we're jammed up.
Can you take those bolt heads off? What does that
I
hold
think it
on
just
there?
holds the bearing on.
You know, if those were gone, it would have been out of here.
You're gonna have to lower it.
Here, I got this one.
Watch your fingers. There.
Okay, you got it.
Now we can get some access to it.
I get so poison, I can't turn it. Have to remember where these go.
Is that under tension?
Here, let me get it.
Sure seems like it's under. There must be a spring in there.
Oh, look at this. This whole, this part of the differential is going to slide off of there. So we can either
Set it down.
take it off.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's
let's do that. because
set it down.
We don't want to. Yeah.
Don't need things falling apart while we're lifting it up.
Okay, right there. Perfect.
Bearing,
Yep.
spacer or race, inner race.
It's like a bunch of shims. There's one more. Oop.
Shims.
Wanna,
Undo the strap.
I suppose. I don't know what's going to happen. Is it holding it up?
Or do you think we'll be able to? Well, I don't think it's going to fall apart because both straps are kind of keeping it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if this thing slides off there, man, it's just gonna go.
So what do you think we should do?
Let's take that one off.
Oh, that's heavy. Okay. Put this back on.
Yeah, we'll have to really. We gotta do something though to keep it from sliding off. Putting that on is not gonna help because it'll get in the way again. But it's lighter.
Well, let's see what happens. Just pick it up a little bit and
Yeah. I can kind of hold it together like this so it won't slide. You got it.
I think
Keep going.
what we need to do is
Keep going.
no. Now we gotta turn it when we get it up. All right.
Okay, we gotta be kind of careful here.
We're snagged on that.
Why don't you put that that plate with the bolts on the end of it? Yep. Now,
We're snagged on this too.
yep. We can move it that way though.
It's already doing it.
Now it'll tilt. What is that?
It's the rod for the
All right,
water injector.
get this thing out of here. Nothing to it.
Yep. Done deal. Here we go. Well, let's just try to straighten it out a little bit. Here we go.
Just like downtown.
Well, guys, that pretty much does it for the 1928 John Deere D. It's pretty much all apart, with the exception of the differential, which, by the way, I'll show you a quick picture here. we found that big crack in this thing, and it's probably a good thing that we didn't decide to go and just run this track or run the 28, because who knows what would have happened to that differential assembly. The axle housings, they haven't been disassembled yet, and the clutch, there's still a few things we can take apart with that. And then the sliding gear assembly and shaft. But other than that, the 27's in the garage, and Tony came over today. He got the radiator back in his GP, so hopefully that's done leaking. And then we have to figure out the fuel tank and the issue with the bung on that. So that's gonna do it. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one. Let's get the 1927 John Deere D series fired up, and as you can hear, I'm needed. So I'll talk to you guys later.